And what was fascinating to me, and it speaks to a little bit of what you were talking about earlier, and it still happens, is I realized things about myself that I couldn't have articulated until I just started talking. That is what I was going through, or that is how I was feeling. I didn't even realize it until this moment that was impacting me in a certain way, whatever those things might be.
Yeah.
And that doesn't happen without this.
Welcome to Elevated Life, Real Wellness and Transformation Podcast, where we walk alongside the internally driven individual as they transform their life through wellness, movement, mindset, and personal responsibility. If that's you, you're in the right place. Let's jump in.
Yay!
It is party time here at Elevated Life.
Oh my goodness.
Why are we partying, Johnna?
We are partying because life is a party.
Do you need a reason to
I'm
party?
pretty sure everyone just turned down their radio or
Let me get back to my
whatever.
NPR voice.
Yes. Why are we so excited today?
This is episode 100.
100. Can you fucking
No.
believe that?
No, I cannot.
I can't either. I can't believe it. And you know what's crazy? When I was thinking about it, I was like, this is the 100th time that we sat not in front of these mics, and not always in this chair, but whatever.
But pretty much.
And then I thought, no, because it's more than 100 because we have recorded podcasts, you guys, that were like, that was cringe.
Well, that's not ever going out.
Exactly. But anyway, this is the 100th published podcast. And so super exciting. How do you feel about that? Tell me all the things, Clint.
I'm really excited. We're going to take a trip down memory lane and talk a lot, but just in general, before we start into that, it's something that I look forward to all the time, which is really cool.
Yeah.
It isn't something that, oh shit, we got to do this again and, whatever. And there's various levels, but it's always something that I look forward to.
Yeah.
Which is really fun. And we'll get into specifics as we take a stroll.
Yeah. So take
What
the
about
stroll.
what about you though? What about you just in general? How do you feel?
I have so many feelings, and all of you know that. I'm really excited. Like when you told me last week, oh my goodness, we are coming up on 100 podcasts. I was just like, whoa, because there were so many times in this last year and month that I was just like, forget it. Forget it. And I want to say that most of the time I really enjoy podcasting. But when you're trying to podcast along with running a gym and being a personal trainer and living your life, that's can be tough, right? And so I'm just so stoked that we pushed through those really dark times when we were, y'all know what we went through last year. And we just pushed through. And it just worked out. There were times when I thought, what am I going to talk about? I can't even form words for my own self.
Yeah.
What am I going to tell the people? And really it was a coming into myself on the podcast. It was really crazy.
Yeah. So do you want to start at the beginning? We can.
Well, I'm just kind of going through. I have a couple of notes that I wrote down.
Okay.
But yeah, you start.
It all started, this version of what we're doing. We started Elevated Life before the podcast, kind of at the same time. But here's what I mean by that, because the podcast itself initially was just going to be Johnna.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was just going to be you.
Yeah.
Spreading the word,
Yeah.
whatever. And so Johnna actually recorded a couple, or tried to record a couple in our closet. We got that story. Of course, we started in the closet because
I just love that so much.
yeah, it was great. And And then she recorded a couple of them, or did some recording, and then basically it was like, this sucks talking to myself.
I know, in a closet,
Yeah.
you guys. I'm like, so I had a podcast before with a really good friend. A lot of you know that. And I've always just had a heart for podcasting. And so, yes, I was going to do it myself. And then I sat in the closet probably 10 times. And because it was the best acoustics, and I just thought, oh, what in the hell is this? Like, who am I talking to? And I need a little bit of a driver, right? And also someone to like hone me in, because otherwise I'm just, well, you guys know, I don't have to tell you what I am. 'Cause it's all on the podcast. So then it was, hey, right?
Yeah.
Is that how it went? Like,
Yeah.
I forget this part. So go ahead and tell the story. Story time.
I mean, that, excuse me, that pretty much was it. Was just going to be, because initially the podcast was called Elevated Life with Johnna and Clint, because it was just going to be with Johnna. And we kind of played on that for a while. I was those things that you're talking about, just a secondary, basically somebody to sit across from you and make eye contact with and be able to talk to, and I could spur you on or whatever.
Right.
And
It's still kind of like that.
Because it works.
I'm so calling you out. These next 100 episodes, y'all are going to hear so much from Clint. He's going to be so effing uncomfortable.
Well, there's been a couple like that.
Are you sweating right now?
No,
Yeah.
not yet. There's a good wind blowing in through the
Right.
crack in the window. So yeah, that's how it got going. And really, when we started, we had concepts, but it's interesting to look back on the first several podcasts that we did, and they were a lot of lists, or a lot of, here's 6 tips for this, or 5 things you can do at the gym to get better, whatever. They're a little more engaged than that, but a lot of those kinds of things. When we were trying to figure out really the whole part of the beginning of the podcast, and this lasted for a while, was us doing a balance of how much should we really say that's gonna, this shit's going out and people are gonna listen to this.
Yeah.
So how much do we need to hold back?
Yeah.
How much do we need to keep us?
Yeah.
Versus how much we're gonna be speaking. And so those podcasts were a lot easier with that, because it's just like, okay, let's talk about different lifts, or let's talk about salt. That was a big early one. Sun,
which we're gonna do another
breath
one on
work.
sun. Yeah.
Sauna. Those 5 things for free that you can do to heal yourself.
Right.
And those were great. I mean, I really
Well,
enjoyed.
I believe that that's where we were at.
Absolutely, yeah. And so moving through those.
Do you hear Emma's meditation
Yeah,
music?
it's got to be coming through.
So, if you guys hear some it's because we have our own spa.
Yeah.
And a daughter came up to use it, and she is blasting her meditation music.
Yes,
It's
she
great.
is.
Anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, that's
I know
okay.
that was distracting.
I think when I realized that, holy shit, people are actually listening to this, was one of our favorite early episodes, Where'd All the Hippies Go?
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, talk about phase 1.
That's like in the first 10 episodes.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's great. It'd be fun to go back and listen to now.
And how we've expanded in our thought. Yeah, with that.
But I had a couple different people just after that episode that I had no idea were even paying attention to anything that we were doing, and ask me about it, or communicate, talk to me about where did all the hippies go and what's going on with that. And like, whoa, you actually listened? That wasn't just the two of us talking.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool for me.
For sure. I think as I look at how we progressed through the year, we went from being very guarded to being full on, at least I can speak for myself, transparent.
Hey friends, if you're getting something out of this, connect with us on our social media platforms. We're at CJ Elevated Life _ on Instagram and TikTok, and CJ Elevated Life on Facebook and X. We're answering DMs, sharing daily content, and building community with people ready for real transformation. For now, hit subscribe wherever you're listening, Apple, Spotify, YouTube. We drop 2 new episodes every week. And if this episode resonates, share it. That's how we reach more people who are ready for change. You can also find everything at cjelevatedlife.com. All right, let's keep going.
Very transparent because, I went through so much healing last year. And a lot of times now I forget that there's humans on the other side of the microphone because, we constantly have people coming up and saying, oh my gosh, I listened to your podcast. I know exactly what you're talking about. And it's always with like the healing and the stress and the spiritual bypassing or whatever we're talking about. And, you just, it seems like it would be easier to come on a platform and not be your 100% authentic self. But we have found that the fruit comes in laying it all out there, because the truth is everyone's feeling this way in some degree or another with the things that we speak about. And when you're just fully transparent, there's that connection that they can make, like, oh, these are real humans. This isn't just like, someone who is sitting there going, oh, my life is great, look at this and look at that. Being more transparent, that's something I've learned massively this year.
And we took a relatively major step in that when we realized that. And that's when we semi-rebranded.
Yeah.
And went just from with Johnna and Clint to Real Wellness, Elevated Life, Real Wellness and Transformation.
Yeah.
And the title in and of itself, it's fine. It's great. But that was what marked for us, hey, we've really got to be transparent, like you were saying.
Well, it was getting uncomfortable for me. Like, I was so uncomfortable coming on here and being like, yay, here's 10 ways to blah, blah, blah. Never mind the fact that I just learned that I haven't dealt with 15 different childhood issues and I can't even take 5 minutes without crying, but I'm going to come on a podcast and talk in a really high-pitched voice and pretend like everything's okay.
And just say, hey, if you take a cold shower, you'll be good.
Yeah. Like, it was so fucking fake to me. And it was like, I can't do this anymore because just my spirit, it totally, didn't work with. And then it was like, okay, y'all are going on this healing journey with me. I don't know what it looks like and I don't even know what to say. But here we go.
I think that's one of the better parts or the coolest things for me with how we do this. We genuinely, sometimes we have notes, like bullet points of, okay, we need to, get on this topic. We for sure want to hit these things, but it's very unscripted. And even when we have notes, we're going wherever our conversation goes.
Yeah, and most of the time, I know this is shocking to you that listen often. The reason why we have bullet points is because we need to bring it back in. We get off on like a thing, and we need something to like, hey, this is what we're talking about right here. We're not talking about that over there. And so when we first started too, we had no fancy equipment. What did we record? Did we record on the iPad at first? With no microphones, or was it a phone?
No, it was the iPad because we'd have it set out.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and just record off of that and using whatever we use,
GarageBand,
and had to save it here and do this and save that and do this.
And you can start a podcast doing that. Anyone who's listening that wants to, like, you can absolutely do that. But I think that just starting was what we finally, it was just like, just start. And then it's still messy. I mean, how many sound checks do I have to do at the beginning of every effing podcast?
One.
Of course, it is getting
better. You have to do one.
No. Turn it up. Milliscope. Turn it down. Turn it up. Turn it up. Anyway, so we just kind of leapt, right? And then let the podcast, I feel like it's an entity of its own. I have grown so much just from making that switch from elevated life to elevated life, real wellness and transformation, and just putting it out there. All of the things. Like, it's been such a huge growth for me personally. And then the feedback from people, we don't always need feedback. We don't need validation or any of that, but it's like, oh no, your words like touched my soul, Johnna, and it had me look at something totally different. Thank you so much. I'm like, dude, that's what this is about.
I'm going to say absolutely, because, we should bring back all the words I used to say all the time. But absolutely. And it's so cool with that, because it really goes to what we talk about so much with it's inner work. It's you figuring things out on your own. So when somebody comes up to one of us or both of us and has that reaction, it's not them saying, "Oh, you fixed me."
No.
"Oh, your words did this to me," or whatever that is. Like, no, I heard what you were saying and I applied it to myself, and I made a change. I took these steps. I did these things.
Yeah.
Which is just it's
humbling.
Yes, thank you. That's a perfect word for it. It's the most
humbling thing. It's just like, I don't know. I feel like I want to like bow to the feet. Like, oh my gosh. And grateful. Just so grateful, for all of that.
I know this podcast changed my life. And specifically thinking about, Johnna likes to say that I'm not as vulnerable on the podcast.
And I'm pretty sure everyone could say that too.
But if you haven't already, go back and listen to the 3-part series of the Duco Files.
He's trying to school me right now. Because before the podcast, I was like, you need to be more transparent.
Yeah. Where I mean, it was great. And I laid my soul bare.
Yeah, you did. You're right. I forgot about that.
Yeah. And what was fascinating to me, and it speaks to a little bit of what you were talking about earlier, and it still happens, is I realized things about myself that I couldn't have articulated until I just started talking.
Yeah.
And then, getting in a flow of whatever I was talking about. And then all of a sudden you would ask me a great question, because you asked me some great questions. And then I answered it and like, holy shit, that is what I was going through, or that is how I was feeling. I didn't even realize it until this moment.
Yeah.
That was impacting me in a certain way, whatever those things might be.
Yeah.
And that doesn't happen without this.
No, it doesn't. Yeah.
So that to me, that was a springboard to really, one of the times that helped me realize, oh no, I think I'm good. I'm I've done some work. I'm feeling pretty good. And then we recorded those. Like, well, I'm not even at ground zero or square one or whatever. I feel like, I don't want to say I took a bunch of steps back, but took a bunch of steps in a whole different direction.
Yeah.
So that was pretty amazing.
I totally forgot that we did that. That was kind of the catalyst-ish to the changing of just being more
like, oh, this is what we need to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So, do you have a favorite episode?
I mean, besides the ones where I talk about myself. I mean, honestly, I really liked those. I still, we already referenced it, but Where Did All the Hippies Go?
Oh,
that one still is near and dear to me.
Yeah.
I think because it was our first opportunity, and if we recorded it now, it'd probably go a little different. We'd probably be, I shouldn't say probably, we absolutely would be a lot more vulnerable and open to our personal feelings and thoughts about it. We kind of just tried to present it versus live it.
Yeah.
But that one still is pretty cool.
Hey, quick pause. If this episode is hitting you and you're ready for real tools, here's what we built.
Head on over to cjelevatedlife.com,
pick up the Rebuilt Method for men
Whoa.
or the Rebuilt Method for women, just $67 each. We also created the Parasite Detox Blueprint at $37. And this is actually the exact protocol we use ourselves.
And while you're there, sign up for the newsletter. You'll get the weekly action steps and new tools we've tested ourselves. Let's get back to the episode.
To me.
I remember, I just had this thought with that podcast and then our earlier podcasts. I didn't want to hurt anyone's feelings.
Yeah.
That was so huge. Like, I don't want to. So it's like this vanilla, right? All this vanilla. And I think that if we re-recorded Where Have All the Hippies Gone Now, it'd be so different. So different.
I think, and then I'll ask you the same question. Not necessarily favorite. I've got a couple other thoughts here. Not necessarily favorite, but again, impactful. When we did the Gym Ready series,
Oh, yeah.
that was another one by the time, and it's a lot of great information. But by the time we got to the end of it, it was like, holy shit, are we just enabling people to make excuses?
Totally.
Like, okay, we've said for 7 episodes, things that are legitimate again, but fuck, man, you gotta just attack whatever's going on. That's what it is.
Oh, my gosh. It was so nauseating. Did we even finish that series?
No.
I don't think we did because,
No.
7 weeks in, I was like, I can't talk about how, you're being judged at the gym any fucking more. Like, I can't. It just, no one's judging you.
Yeah.
And if they are, they're judging themselves.
Yeah.
And I don't want to say that anymore. I think I've said that,
That's
1,000 times.
That's how we ended it. We kind of just cut it off, and you said those exact same things.
Yeah.
Like, okay, this is done.
But I really liked the first few because a lot of those pain points, we went through the pain points. A lot of those were very valid and
Yes.
things that I had gone through myself. But then I just felt like it was like, here's another excuse and here's another excuse and how can I be a victim? So I had to stop
It would have
that.
been a really, really great 4-part series.
For sure. Yeah.
That being said, go listen to all of them.
Yeah, they're great. The first few are the best. I don't have a favorite podcast
What?
because I know this sounds so cheesy, but I think that all of them just document our growth. And so I am really proud of that growth. Yeah, that's really, some of these podcasts were literally life-changing for me. I mean, I was having epiphanies real time, especially through the summer and the fall of last
Yeah.
year. And, just crying on the podcast. Here's the deal. Coming from someone who used to never cry, like literally, Clint and I just had this conversation the other day. I knew that I was about ready to start my period when one tear would fall down my face.
Yeah.
I never fucking cried. And crying in front of someone, number one, I'm a Capricorn. We're not doing that shit. We're just not. Number two, I'm Johnna, and I'm not doing that shit.
Right.
And now I'm a walking crybaby. It's because I realize it's stored energy and trauma, and you need to move it out of your body. And just seeing that growth in myself makes me really proud and super proud of myself for, here's the deal. I know that everyone is human except for the ones that are not human.
That's a different
Right?
podcast.
Yes, it is. But, okay, we're all human, even though we're not. Sorry. And everyone is having these emotions. They just don't have the courage to admit it. And the masks, we're in a season now where all the masks are flying off. It's just like, woo, rapid fire mask being ripped off. So just, I know that people are going through those same things. And if I'm the trailblazer of just fucking cry, just say it like it is. Just be honest with yourself. Talk about your shit. I mean, remember when we talked about where we landed on the narcissistic spectrum?
Yeah.
Who wants to do that work?
Yeah.
Who? Like, everyone is so good at going, you're a narcissist, you're a projector, you're this, you disassociate, but not me. And now that I know the psychology and I've gone so deep into meditation, and it's like, no, we all are.
Yeah.
And I know that, so I can't get played. But anyway, I'm saying all that to say that it's changed me. This podcast has changed me, and I'm super grateful for it. Like, that's where I'm at. It's been a life-changing thing, and I don't see us quitting at all.
No.
Like, I think we've gone through that, oh my gosh, I don't know if I can do this anymore. I know I had many moments like that. To, man, I love doing this. I love podcasting. And, just like just so you guys know, we kind of batch record. So I go through like seasons in my cycle, because I'm a woman and I cycle, where I'm super creative, and then seasons where I'm just like, I don't even know anything, right? And so when we have those seasons of high creativity, we make lists. I get downloads of things that the divine wants us to talk to the people about. I mean, that's basically what it is. And then, we batch record, and that has been good.
Yeah.
Learning to batch record instead of, and then knowing when we're done. Like, because I don't want to put anything out that's half-ass. Like that, I don't like that anymore. I feel like that's maybe where we started, not knowing it was half-ass, but I'm all about the full ass.
Full ass. Only full ass here.
Wow.
I think that's a good... I've had a couple thoughts while you've been talking. I think that is a good thing to reflect on a little bit, but just some of the lessons that we've learned, not like the big stuff that we've been talking about, but just the little things. For example, you don't need to use 50 words to say 10 words worth of information.
Right.
And, we did that a lot. And maybe we still do some, but I think we've gotten quite a bit better of
being more intentional.
I've said this, now I'm done. Let's move on. Which has been beneficial, probably beneficial to you listeners.
For sure.
Too. I think, and I can't remember exactly where it is on the list, but going back to thinking about favorite podcasts, I really like when I don't know exactly what's going on, because I like to feed off of you and figure that out. We did one a while ago where you interviewed me and I didn't know the questions.
Yeah.
And they were pretty deep, intense questions.
Yes, they were. We need to do another one like that with you.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm in.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you have any questions, listeners, send them to Johnna.
Hey, you know what? That's what we should do. Listeners, do you have questions?
Yeah.
For us, for Elevated Life? Email them to us. What's our email, Clint?
It is hello@cjelevatedlife.com.
Yeah. So there you go. If you guys have questions for us, email your questions in, and then we'll do an episode just answering those questions. So
yeah,
keep going.
So just saying that, like, that's really the ones that I enjoy. We do some, like we talked about, that are more scripted, and I'm sure if you're listening to them, you can tell, okay, this one we're doing a little more reading versus just talking back and forth. The reason we do that is because those podcasts have very specific information that we want to make sure we get right.
Yeah, like the salt one, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
The Rockefeller one.
Yes.
That we did. We don't just want to wing it and hope that we
heard on a blah 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 that this is how it went.
Yeah. So I really like those ones are good, good information, and we still banter and everything, but I like the ones where I'm not quite sure where it's going.
Yeah. I agree.
Honestly, that's kind of just how our lives are. I'm not quite sure where things are going to go, and it's always an adventure.
Yeah, every day. Every day is an adventure. All right. Thank you so much for listening to our 100th podcast, right? So exciting.
Yeah, and if you have a few minutes and want to go back and listen to some of the early stuff and see,
And cringe a
hopefully,
little.
hopefully, we've gotten at least a little bit better. It's all up on all 100 episodes are available on all the major
quick,
platforms.
Though, we listened to the podcast for the first time on like the
right,
85th
yeah.
episode or something.
Yeah.
Like we literally have never listened to our own podcast because I don't have to tell anyone when you listen to your own self-talk, it's like, cringe.
Yeah.
But we had to, and I forget for what reason. And we were pleasantly surprised. I don't want to speak for
Yes,
you, but
totally agree.
yeah. So
Yeah.
I was shocked actually. I was like, oh, wow, listen to us.
It's all right.
Yeah. So anyway, thank you for listening. Again, if you want to write in a question, write it into hello
At cjelevatedlife.com.
yeah, and
Or message any of the, Instagram or Facebook or
Yeah.
anything. Leave a comment on here on the podcast
Yeah.
on whatever platform.
thank you so much for listening and sharing and spreading the word of Elevated Life. Have a lovely day.
And we'll talk to you soon.